Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this Dell Inspiron 15-7559. I'm going to be replacing the screen on it. Okay, so first what you want to do, just remove the one screw back here. So screen replacement on this is relatively simple. And it's actually nice and easy to upgrade. If you need to completely take it apart, it's a huge pain in the butt. But here there's a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive connector. It also has the bracket, though it doesn't have the 4 screws for mounting the hard drive. If you put an SSD, it's not really a big deal because you don't need to worry about SSDs bouncing around. But you can add a 2.5-inch SATA SSD here. There's also a M.2. This looks like they're using a SATA. Yeah, I think this is SATA. They didn't label it, but the connector, oh yeah, it is SATA. So there's an M.2 SATA SSD. So if you want, you can upgrade this as well. There's just one screw holding it in place. It'll pop up and you can pull it out. The RAM here, you just pull these tabs to the side. And this is PC3L 12800S. So this is DDR3 memory, 8 gigs. If you want, you can add a second stick, make it 16 gigs. There's not really, for most people, not much point to go beyond that. Even 8 gigs is usually plenty for most people. So what I didn't mention, of course, make sure your computer is off, and then remove the battery first before you start disconnecting like the LCD cable. It's very important. Remove the battery, press and hold the power button 10 to 15 seconds before you touch this cable. SSD, RAM, and stuff like that, usually it's not a big deal, but for the LCD cable you definitely want to. This connector is for the DC jack or the charge port, so if your charge port's broken or you're having problems charging, you can test it by disconnecting this, plugging a new one in, and checking that. Right, wireless card's there. CPU looks to be soldered to the board. And yeah, so anyways, we're going to replace the screen. So we're going to pull the battery connector up. I just wiggled it while I pulled on it, and it comes out like that. Alright, after you do that, again, press and hold the power button 10 to 15 seconds because we are going to be disconnecting the cable here. Alright. Okay, there we go. After you do that, what you want to do is we're going to have to remove this frame from the screen. So to do that, let's see if I can record this. Basically, you pull the middle of the frame out, and then you kind of push the frame inwards if you can. So that's the easiest way to remove the clips for these hinges, okay? And you do this all the way around the screen. Same thing with the sides. You pull up on the middle, and then you push in towards the center of the screen, okay? So just do that. All right. The corners are usually a little bit tricky, but you just got to work with them. All right. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to flip this now. I've already kind of taken this apart, so it's a little bit easier. But do that. All right. And then same thing with this one. Actually, on the bottom ones, I believe you actually want to pull it down, but actually no. Okay, pulling it up towards the center also helps. So yeah, same thing. Pull the middle out and then pull up towards the center. So there we go. Frame comes out super simple. We're going to remove 4 screws from the screen that's holding the screen in place. Okay, very easy. Remove these 4 screws. 1, 2, excuse me, 3, and 4. All right. I think that should be it. Sometimes they'll use screws on the side, but this one looks like it's just those 4 corners. So we'll flip the computer back over. Be careful, hold on to the screen. It's going to fall forward. All right, once you do that, there's this little tab here. You want to peel this up. Let me see if I can zoom in and show this specifically. Okay. So peel this up. You want to peel it kind of to the side, and then go to the other side and peel it to that other side, just like that. And just walk the cable or the adhesive over. There we go. Once you get that, be very careful. You don't want to damage this cable. Pull this up. You can see this connector goes up. Again, hopefully you disconnected the battery and held the power button. And then just pinch on the sides of this bracket, and then at the bottom, use your finger to push the connector out, just like that. Okay, and there's the old screen. So we're going to get the replacement screen now. And hopefully the replacement screen is in good condition. Sometimes they ship it and it's broken or something, but I mean, the box is pretty big for the size of the screen. So unless they packed it super loose or something, it should be perfectly intact. Okay, just cut this box open. So they did put a bunch of bubble wrap on it. Let's zoom out. Okay. Okay, good. They mounted the screen with some tape on the sides. That's kind of good. It holds it to the cardboard so it doesn't move around. Right, so we're going to peel up this adhesive. Alright. Peel off this adhesive. Oops, I left some on there. Oh, I'm going to do it the easier way. I'm just going to cut the tape and then peel it from there. Okay. There we go. Okay, you want to be careful handling the screen because it is fragile. Alright, so let's peel off the rest of this tape. You don't want to just rip things out quickly. Easily damage this screen. Alright, so now what we're going to want to do, if you want a matte screen, also make sure you got the right one. This is a matte screen. I go based off the screen model on the screen itself. You want to check your own screen, but here you can see there's the model number here, NV156FHM. It's a 15.6 inch. But every model or every computer will sometimes use a different one, so you want to check that to be safe. Alright, let's zoom back in and reconnect this cable. So grab the cable with the latch facing up, of course. Okay, and then just the way you pulled it out, do the same thing to put it back, just in reverse. Okay. I like to slide the screen around to line it up because the cable, you don't want to like bend it around too much. All right, just make sure it's all lined up. Pull it all the way in, again using the bottom of the metal bracket, and then put the bracket back over. Make sure it locks into place. Okay, once you get it locked in place, just put the adhesive back down. Then we're just going to rotate the screen back up. Be careful not to put a bunch of pressure on the screen. I'm going to flip the screen back over this way. Alright, and then we're going to put the 4 screws back in. So very simple. Okay, just like that. Make sure those 4 corners line up. And be very careful not to drop your screwdriver on the screen. If you want, you can do this while the screen is up, so there's less chance of dropping something on it while you're doing this. Okay, but we're basically just putting back the screws for the screen here. And then you always want to test the screen before you put the bezel back on, just so you don't have to worry about it later. Okay, and also be very careful with this part down here. That's the control board for the screen. If you damage that, then you damage the whole screen. Okay. Alright, so there we go. Got all of that back in. We're going to reconnect the battery. Alright. Put the cable back down. Alright, we'll grab this bottom cover. Slide this back on there. Pop the clips back in place. Tighten the screw up. Since this computer is so easy to open up and disassemble, might as well just put the cover back on. Okay, now we're gonna open it back up, power it up, and make sure everything looks okay, and it looks good. So once you confirm everything's good, you just peel off the protective coating. There is a plastic coating. If you want, you can leave it on there. Usually they put some ink on it. You can wipe it off with rubbing alcohol, but if you do leave that protective coating on there, it scratches really easily. But yeah, some people prefer that. They'll scratch that and then they just peel that off. So here you can see, looks good. They did just make their background black, but yeah, other than that, I think we're good to go. Let me turn it on completely. Did they disable their trackpad? Okay, let's see. I don't know if they were using a mouse or what. Yeah, their trackpad's disabled. Okay, I'm going to use the keyboard to shut it down. We didn't do anything with the trackpad, so that shouldn't affect anything. Okay, so I'm just shutting it down now, and then we're going to put back the frame. So here you can see it's off, and then you just peel this thing off because it's supposed to be a matte screen, not glossy. So here you go. And now the screen has that matte finish. Alright, so we'll go with that. Lift it back up. Take the bezel, drop it back in place. Guess I can do this and show it in video. Or I'll try. Let's zoom back out some more. Okay, and then same thing like before. You kind of just squeeze, you kind of rotate it, lift the middle inner part of the frame up while you kind of squeeze the outer edges in, just like that. Okay, and then squeeze these parts as well. Make sure those clip in. You might have to kind of pull it forward and stuff to get these clips to go back in. There we go. Alright, make sure all the clips are good. Check around the sides, make sure everything looks snapped in place. Alright, looks good. Looks good. Snap that in place too, and make sure these snap. Usually I have the screen closed slightly and you can kind of see the gap, and then you just push those two together just like that. It's hard to show that on camera, but hopefully you get the idea. Oops. Alright, push that, snap it together. So I have to push one side inside and then the other out there. But that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, like and subscribe. Help others find my videos. Thank you for watching. This was just a very quick thing. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.